Hey everybody, and welcome to Q&A Wednesday. We're going to answer the questions that you have about your health and fitness goals. Now, this one's a little more, I don't know if I want to say deep, but a little more complicated than the average question that I talk about, because it really kind of comes down to when I talk about your health goals, whether it's the physical part that's more important or whether it's the psychological part that's more important. And so, point being that the physical part really honestly is the easy part of reaching your goals. It's the mental and emotional that really does become difficult. And I don't think a lot of people think about that part. I think people, oh, I got my really weird hair going on. I think that people really think, okay, well, as long as I'm getting my exercise in and, it should be a whole lot easier than it is to do my food. Why is eating right so difficult? So part of that is making sure that you're looking at both parts of your goal and what you need to tackle, because again, we're going to kind of delve into that, which one's more important. Obviously, you know what we're going to talk about already, because for anybody who's tried to reach a health goal, it comes down to an obstacle usually. For me, the biggest obstacle has always been having kind of a difficult relationship with food, eating my feelings, and I still to this day will do that. So it's not something that ever completely goes away. Part of it's just learning better coping skills. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Can you see all my Christmas stuff up behind me? Super excited about that. I'm going to admit it's not me. I'm not putting stuff up. My daughter's getting all of that done. So that's kind of the thing she did. And then the other daughter got up all the lights outside. So grateful that people are willing to do those kind of things, because it's, I'm in a great mood. You know what? I finally this week came to terms with myself. Really, even with all the negative that's going on in the world, I really find some amazing blessings happening. Predominantly that my focus has just kind of shifted a little bit. My priorities have changed a little bit. Even my health goals have changed a little bit. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I will be turning 46 in January. I love when I get that comment back from people that are going, "What? You're in your 40s?" Yes, I am, and I'm a grandma. It really is about energy and being able to continue to focus on my passion and things I want to accomplish, which obviously has to do with helping people. The empath in me has really struggled throughout this situation. First of all, because I have some extreme opinions as to what's happening, but I don't like watching people suffer. And having a really hard time watching some narcissists just really enjoy burning down their states. And so that is a struggle for me to watch. But other than that, I'm kind of coming out of that and really going, you know what? This is just another obstacle. Let's just do what we're here to do, and that is to help people and make the world a better place. So, okay, so let's jump into it. Do you really need to focus more on the physical or the psychological? So, when you're trying to get healthy, there's definitely a physical side where you need to focus on eating better, because nutrition is huge, like even more than the exercise, because honestly, by all means, they both matter. But even in a situation, if you're ill or injured and you can't do the exercise part of it, you can make an incredible difference just by focusing on nutrition. So, it really bothers me when people think, oh, hey, I fell down and broke my leg, whatever, so I'm going to give up. Like, why? Because the nutrition part of it actually matters more than the exercise. So I do tell people that nutrition determines size, exercise determines shape, because what you eat determines whether you're, I don't want to say losing weight, because I don't like that term, but whether you're getting healthier and you're feeding your body the nutrients that it needs. So keep that in mind. So really, the emotional and mental part, the psychological part really is the harder part. And we're going to talk a little bit about why, and I do have a couple tips for you before we're done. Hopefully you are staying warm out there. And when you have a minute, if you miss these, or if you're wondering where the rest of these Facebook Lives are that I do every week, you can actually subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post everything. Fortunately, my web guy, Dan, he's amazing. He posts everything on there for me once I'm done. You can hop on there and see everything I've ever done in the last 5-6 years. So, free education. All right, so number one, I want to talk about a few things, and you might not agree with me. I don't care. One of the benefits of being 45 and realizing that part of the world is toxic is I really just don't care what people think about me. I care that you know that I actually care about you and that I want the best for you. That's just my nature, and it can't be helped. But if you don't like me, I don't care. Okay, so number one, the first thing I want to talk about is when it comes to, and again, you can actually approach this on both physical and the psychological aspect, but you have to be tough. And I'm not talking about you need to start out being super strong, physically, that's going to come with part of the process. That's going to be part of your progress. But you really do need to grow a spine. And again, I don't even mean that physically. I mean that figuratively, because I'm really not impressed, no offense to upcoming generations. I think some generations of parents have not done a great job, but we've all taught our kids that, words hurt, like be offended. Like, you know what? At what point did we decide it was not okay to just grow up and be an adult? And be tough, like defend yourself, be your own best advocate. Stop being a boob about the whole thing. Do something about it. Nothing in life that's worth having was super easy to get. It just doesn't work that way. And I don't know about you, I love the feeling and the sense of accomplishment especially when I accomplish something difficult. Man, it just, wow. You have to have the difficult to have the great. It's, the light with the dark, the yin with the yang. If we don't have the difficulty, we don't appreciate it. It kind of comes down to, when you pay for it, whether that's financially or whether that's with your time and energy, getting into the gym and doing the work, you appreciate it more. You can't just be given things because you won't appreciate it and you won't keep it because it's not worth anything. You have to pay the price. So, it's okay. You're going to fall down. Get back up. It's part of the process. There's a mental toughness that's required, but it doesn't have to be overnight. You build that as you deal with each obstacle. I think everybody thinks they're in this all by themselves in this crazy pandemic nuts thing going on. And a lot of people are actually dealing with very, very similar issues. We all just need to band together and support each other, because I think once people realize, wow, oh, you're lonely too. Oh, you're really struggling at home because you can't leave, or you're whatever the issue is, I think we'd all realize that we're all struggling in it and we need to just kind of buoy each other up. But part of it is becoming mentally strong. Any athlete at the top of his game has had to get there in a way that, again, is kind of the whole, you don't see the tip of the iceberg under the water. You don't see all the work, the sweat, the falling down, the absolute misery that sometimes they have to go through to build themselves up mentally and emotionally. So it's part of the process. And I'm not asking you to be the next NBA star. I'm just saying you just have to figure out how to overcome the difficulties, because it's going to be there. The next one is, consistency. It's hard to be consistent, right? Because of course we all have habits. We all get into that mode of, well, I get up in the morning and I take my shower and I go to work. By the time I get home, I'm tired, so I watch Netflix and I go to bed. Whatever that is, it doesn't have to be a lot. You don't have to go to the gym 3 hours a day. You just need to do it. My lifts are 40 minutes. Sometimes leg day takes a little bit longer. I don't want to be at the gym all day. But I'm consistent all the time. Same thing with, I don't always eat my feelings. I have, but I just have better coping skills. But I work really hard to be consistent at all those things. And that's not just a physical. It's an emotional, mental habit that you get up and you make that morning schedule so that you can get up and do your cardio for 30 minutes in the morning, whatever that is. Again, it's not the physical that's the hard part. It's the mental and emotional and the sticking with it that really becomes the problem or the difficulty. But if you just focus on being consistent versus, oh yeah, I make it to the gym twice a month for 3 hours. And I'm like, well, you're just not going to get there with that. That's just not going to get you where you're going to go. Next, and part of that is that you will not always feel like it. We all get really excited at the beginning of our goal and we're nervous and we're, it's wow, like I can really get to that point. And then we get to, that one day that we just don't feel like it. And so that I don't feel like it day turns into another I don't feel like it day. And all of a sudden we've literally fallen off our goal. And one of my favorite quotes is this. It says, "Commitment means staying loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left you." So that's part of any goal. And it's not even, you don't have to talk about health. It could be any goal. You get excited in the beginning and then you realize you're going to have obstacles. I find it really funny that people are like, well, I'm just not perfect, so I quit. And I'm like, at what point did you think that success is a linear straight line? It does not work that way. Matter of fact, there's no benefit. If you get there that easy, then what was the point? If it were that easy, everybody would do it, right? So again, you're going to have those times that are difficult, and you are not always going to be in the mood. That's just something that's going to happen. Okay, so I talk about this all the time. I get clients that will come to me and say, please help me fix my body because I really am struggling mentally and emotionally, and I need to fix my head. And if I had the right body or whatever their goal is, then I can fix my head. And I'm like, oh, honey, it doesn't work that way. We all got to that position, whether that's a really super unhealthy position or whether it's just we've gotten a little off track. But most of us have gotten there for a reason. Food can be a drug. We all know at this point, it's a proven fact that sugar has an addictive quality to it, that it lights up the same part of our brain that cocaine does. It releases dopamine. We like that dopamine hit. Same thing with electronics, right? And social media, and let's not go there. But, it does have an addictive quality to it. So sometimes we feel like we need that. The food makes us feel better. That's part of it. So again, if you can't figure out a different way to fix and solve that problem versus the food, right? You have to find a different coping skill, a different, and you know what, if it requires a professional to do so, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You go to a coach to help be guided to where your goal is. Why would you not go to a counselor or a psychologist or somebody that can help you on that end of things to help guide you through a difficult situation, come up with new coping skills, and learn a new way of dealing with it? So there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why that's gotten such a stigma to it, but you have to fix the problem. You have to fix your head, whatever it is that got you there, in order to fix your body. You fix this, make this healthy, and then you can your body will follow. I don't think people realize that your subconscious does not know the difference between real and make-believe. So whatever you constantly tell it, that's when people say, well, I hate myself. And I'm like, do not tell your body that. Your mind hears that, and you go in this spiral of a horrible depression because you are telling yourself how to feel. But if you've ever heard of affirmations, right? They're personal, they're present tense, and they're positive. So if you tell yourself on a daily basis that I am a very happy, energetic, size, whatever, your brain goes, oh, I am? Oh, wow. Well, cool. And your mind will subconsciously help you get there. So really be careful what you're telling yourself because you believe it, right? Okay. The last one I really want to talk about really quickly is make sure that within the craziness of all that, stop and take breaks. We talk, especially, when you're an entrepreneur, about hustle hard, really you got to be doing something all the time. And that's really not healthy. No matter what you're talking about, even in the gym, we take days off. If we're lifting or if we're exercising, or if I'm doing my cardio over here, we take days off because our body needs to recover. So does our mind. So it's really important that you're making sure that you take time for yourself, that you are doing self-care, that is part of being healthy, is making sure that you're mentally and emotionally healthy as well. And so, whether that's meditation, which one of those things that I heard of for years, I was like, oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll try that someday. And then within the midst of the craziness going on, I went, you know what? I think I need to try that. So I had a good few weeks there where I was meditating every day, even got to the point where I was like, first it was guided. Then after that, I was like, shut up, just stop talking. Let me listen to the music. And really I can get myself there without the talking. And then I stopped for a while because I thought I've just got so much going on. But let me tell you, it makes such an incredible difference. And I don't necessarily do it every day, but when I really start to feel myself needing that mental space to be positive again, I'm just getting too far off track, I do it. And it's amazing. Sometimes I end up in tears and God and I have a conversation at the moment, but it really does help me to recenter myself. So whether it's meditating or maybe you do pray and you have more of a personal spiritual spot of your day, just make sure that you're taking that time. And it also can be a physical nap. Not a bad thing. As a matter of fact, power naps are great. But what I found is that when I get really, really stressed out and I can't seem to shake myself out of it, sleep resets me. So early on in the quarantine, like March, April, when it was just really frustrating and things were really we just didn't know what to expect. I had times where I was going to bed at 5:30 because I knew that when I woke up, I would at least have reset my brain. There's things that happen while you sleep at night that having to do with, recovery and memory storage and some different things that happen. Your body kind of cleanses some proteins out of your system. But it resets you. And sometimes even a nap can do that. I've done that too, just because I need to turn my brain off for a minute because I'm just getting overwhelmed or whatever my problem is. So make sure that you're taking that time off, that you're taking a minute, that you're taking a break, a nap. You're getting enough sleep. By the way, sleep trumps everything. If you're not getting enough sleep, exercise, there's no benefit to exercise, there's no benefit to strength training, there's a lot of things that because you're not getting the benefit of that, right? Because you don't grow when you lift, you grow when you sleep and rest and recover. So make sure that you're getting that sleep that you need. But yeah, if you need a vacation, if you need a moment to just think about what's going on and just have I'm an introvert, so I need to be alone in order to rest and recover and gain my energy back. Some people are extroverts and they like to be in a group of people, and while I love people, I can handle that as long as I know everybody. Yeah, you put me in a room full of people I don't know, and I'm a wallflower. But I need that moment. I need that time to just, like when I come home, sometimes I just close the door to my room and I'm like, don't talk to me. I just need to be by myself. So if that's something that you need to do that. The other thing is, sometimes exercise, I was just talking to a client the other day. She was like, man, I'm really missing the gym right now. My gym shut down. And that is my therapy and I'm really struggling. And so, definitely exercise can be our moment of a therapy. Like, I love the gym. So not that it's required, but that can be an option. So a couple of tips. Number one, when you start on a health goal, start with what you can handle. I know you want to change everything at once. You want to see these amazing gains and you want to be a supermodel by next week, but that is not how it works, and you mentally cannot handle that. So you start by changing one or two things, incorporating that into your life so you don't get overwhelmed and then quit and then feel guilty. Like, that's just not okay. Start slow, and then as you get used to it, and it's okay if you fall down. It's okay. I find it funny that, I always can tell when my clients aren't doing well because they stop talking to me, like my coaching clients online. And so then I'll kind of be like, hey, how are we doing? And then they're going, I'm just really struggling because I fell off the wagon. And I'm like, that's okay. Like, it's going to happen. It's never bad. In that kind of position, my question is, what did you learn from that? Could you have done something different? What could you do next time that would be better? Was it worth it? Like I had family over and I ate way more than I should, but was it fun? Did you have a good time? Was it worth the time that you spent with them? And then, it just is what it is. You don't have to be perfect all the time. So, we talked about sleep fixes a lot. More than you understand. Also really combat stress, because stress can be a big part of really not getting where you want to go with your health goal. And then last but not least, being prepared. I'm going to tell you probably the number one downfall of most people when they're working towards something health-wise. And I'm not even talking about like, hey, I'm trying to lose a bunch of weight. It can even just be, I just want to feel better. But the number one downfall is people not being prepared. Now, whether that's having all your food prepped, or whether that's being emotionally prepared to walk into your family's house when they're eating stuff that you don't want to eat, or whether that's just having a plan A and a plan B and a plan C while you travel, whatever that is, I would say that that's probably the biggest, most important tip I can give you when it comes to combating stress and being overwhelmed. I had a couple of clients recently, last minute, having to go out of town for something, medical situations, and not necessarily being prepared. And so we worked through some things. So that worked out, it worked out fine. But when you come to that kind of a stressful situation, if things are already prepared and ready, it's such a huge situation of, it's just one more thing you don't have to deal with because it's already there. So again, it takes some time. It's taken me almost a decade. I totally have my groove down. My goal as a coach is to help people find their own groove. It's not going to be the same as mine. It's going to be different because we have different backgrounds, different lifestyle choices, different preferences, different families, different genetics, different ages. We're all different. So figuring out your groove is the most important, and it might change over time, and that's okay. But just really looking for the things that work best for you, and it might be completely different than everybody That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. So, all right. So hopefully you realize that the mental and emotional aspect of reaching goals, any goals, is probably going to be more difficult and need a little more focus than the physical parts. But even within health goals, while the physical part's important, like obviously it is, but when we work with someone who is trying to maybe burn off some fat, become healthier, I always tell them, it's going to be 80 to 90% nutrition, and then the difference will be that physical exercise aspect. The exercise supports, and what's the word I'm trying to think of? It just makes it better. Like it's you can exercise all you want, but you can't out exercise a bad diet. If you can get the nutrition down, that is a good portion of it. And then on that other aspect, emotionally, which usually has to do with the food and the nutrition as well, figuring out your groove and what mentally and emotionally you can do to really stay on track. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully everybody's having an incredible holiday season. Just for all of you who are out there trying to shut us down for Christmas, like just in general as people, I will be celebrating Christmas, so don't really care what you think. My family will be here, and it's just my family. So I'm not even breaking any rules, but I am not going to cancel Christmas just because a bunch of people are scared of themselves. So yeah, I don't care what you think of that either. Have an incredible night, you guys. Stay warm. Do what's right for you. Be safe. Be nice to other people. Not impressed with how humans are treating each other right now. There's no reason for it, and it's not unifying, and I can see some serious downsides to that going on right now. So be kind to each other. Be safe. Protect yourselves and your family. Be prepared. I love you all. I want you to be healthy and happy. And have an incredible night, you guys.